Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with the Raxiom Gen2 nav that has Bluetooth, backup camera, and HDMI capabilities for all 2010 to 2014 Mustangs. In this video, we're going to go over a few things with the new Gen2 Raxiom nav. I'm going to tell you about its features, what makes it different than the original Raxiom nav, and we're going to talk about the install as well. I'll tell you right now that I'm going to call this a 1 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter because it's all plug and play. You don't have to splice anything. It is a little time consuming, but I'll talk more about that later. The Raxiom Gen2 navigation is going to be a good option for the 10 to 14 owners out there that are searching for the most capable factory-style navigation and multimedia system that comes with all the modern amenities like Bluetooth, a backup camera, and even HDMI mirroring, which I'll talk more about in a second. This will work for models that came with or without the sync system, and there are a few differences that are going to give it a bump over the original Raxiom OE style nav. There are two main things that are going to make this unit different than the OG nav. The main thing being the HDMI mirroring capabilities. There is an HDMI input that's going to allow the content that's on your Android or your Apple phone to be displayed on the nav screen. Anything on your phone screen will be shown on the nav screen. So if you're connected to the unit and you're texting, it'll come up on the nav screen, which is a high-def screen. So texting's not all that exciting, but this will work for any of your mobile apps, so Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever you're using. That's pretty cool, but I think the best part about that is when it comes to navigation. Now this is a full GPS navigation unit, and I can talk more about that in a second, but I know that a lot of times people, including myself, are turning to their phones for navigation anymore, even if you do have a full navigation unit in front of you. Sometimes it needs to be updated and it won't show current routes or if a road is closed, or give you a heads up about road hazards or cops like certain mobile apps do. With the mirroring capabilities, instead of having to stare down at your phone, you can have that map or the app displayed on the larger screen of the Gen2 unit, so you have the best of both worlds. You have more of a real-time GPS through a mobile app, but you also have it displayed on the nav, where it's easy to see and interact with like a traditional navigation. The only downside here is that the nav unit does not come with the HDMI cable that you need for the mirroring. That's something that you'll have to pick up on your own. So just like the original Raxiom nav, this one has options, so it'll work with cars that have sync and cars that don't. One of the other main differences between the OG and the Gen2 is that the OG non-sync model did not have Bluetooth capabilities. The Gen2 does. So both models now have Bluetooth capabilities, which is a really nice feature. Other than that, you're still looking at a ton of other nice features. The screen is a 7-inch HD LCD screen that you can interact with, and that's especially nice if you're mirroring your phone. Of course, it does have radio capabilities, and you can access your music from your phone as well, and it has a full-color backup screen. There are 5 language voice options, both male and female, so you can customize that, and of course, a full warranty. The nice thing about this screen is that it'll display all of your sync functions if you have them, so it does retain all voice control sync functions, and it shows a higher resolution than the factory display. The nav system does use a software that has some cool features too. It has text-to-speech, and it gives voice and visual turn-by-turn directions on the screen. Just like the original, you have 2D, 3D, and green routing directions, and 3D building views for major cities. All the map software is preloaded, so this will be available on initial startup. You won't have to download anything or update any SD cards or anything like that. And of course, it has options for US maps or for maps with both US and Canada. The unit that I have here on the table with me today is the unit for cars that came equipped with sync. This is going to look different than the unit for the non-sync cars. You're only getting what you need here. You get the unit and a small bezel to make this look like a factory-style nav, your harness, your backup camera, audio cables, and some foam backing. If you pick the non-sync version, you're gonna need a little bit more. You get a larger bezel that's gonna reposition the factory controls and realign the CD disc slot so you still have an OE appearance. As far as price, this is the most advanced Raxiom unit with the newest technology and capabilities, so it is gonna be more expensive than the original Raxiom nav. You're looking at spending close to $700 for this unit, which is about $100 more than the original. The install for this is easy. It's a 1 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, and it's gonna take about 2 hours total to get it all done. The install is all plug and play. You won't have to splice any wires or cut or have to worry about any of that. The install will change slightly depending on if you're installing on a car that has sync or not. We did install this unit on a car that did have sync, just for reference. You need a few basic hand tools to get the job done. Basically, you'll need to remove your center console, so you have to disconnect any connections and take off some trim pieces so you can get the control panel off. The sync unit is behind this panel, and that needs to be removed along with the radio unit. The Raxiom wiring harness will plug right into the factory harness. You'll have to plug in some input wires and cables into the back of the new nav unit and reinstall all of the pieces that you removed. Once you have everything plugged in and ran and in position, it's just a matter of getting the center console back together and getting your backup camera ran and in place. Raxiom gives step-by-step instructions and tells you how to set up your unit on startup as well, so they make it easy. Wrapping things up here with the Raxiom Gen2 OE-style GPS navigation, the Gen2 has a few more capabilities than the original Raxiom unit, like the Hdmi mirroring and the Bluetooth for non-sync cars. This is still a full GPS navigation unit that'll work for both sync and non-sync cars and maintains all of the sync functions. Now there's a lot to look at with this unit, so I suggest you check it out more online for yourself right here at AmericanMuscle.com.